live. Welcome to Eric and Linda Live, and I'm Eric.
And I'm Linda, and thank you for joining our show today. We have an exciting new guest. I can't wait to hear from him. But so in our pivot, we're doing these live shows, and actually we just thought about, it's been a year since we've been doing these live shows, Eric. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
And so these live shows are bringing in guest speakers to talk about their industry and maybe bring some inspiration or some information to the viewers out there. So today is investments. So we have somebody on investments. Throughout our show, we also started something different, and it's the new the numbers up game. So I'm just going to explain it real quick.
Okay.
Because last time I didn't fully describe the game, and we didn't have a winner last one. So our pot is even bigger.
Double.
It's double. Yeah. So
that's exciting.
I'm going to pick a number 1 through 50. And later on in the show, I'll ask you guys to submit your number. And then we'll just keep that going until when I say, okay, this is the last call for the number, then the closest person that picks the number that doesn't go over the number is the winner. And so, and if you pick the number first, then that number belongs to you, and the second person has to repick the number. And so the prize is a $20 Amazon gift card, because nobody picked the number 7
last week. Right.
Last week. So this week it's $20 Amazon.
$20. So yeah, stay tuned. Make sure you guys be a part of the numbers up game.
Numbers up game.
And pick your number, put it in the chat. And if your number is picked, you win $20. But like Linda said, we've been doing these shows for about a year, and it's been really exciting. We've learned a lot. We've had some really great people and some special guests that really were able to educate us in their industries, whether it's entrepreneurship, sharing their business model, and just, bringing value to individuals out there who are watching. And so even today we have, our special guest that's going to talk about investments. So every month we do 2 investments, 2 entrepreneurs. And so 2 times they will talk about investment, whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks, whether it's whatever you can invest your money in to get a good return on it. And then the other ones will bring on entrepreneurs to kind of share their industry, talk about their business, and kind of highlight what they do and how they got started. We had some very inspirational stories that have really inspired me to even strive a little bit more and work a little harder to help people to reach their goals and to seek and find, their passion and their purpose in life. And so today we're going to be talking about investments.
You know what? Let's pick a number. So let's pick a number. I took this from my house. It's my mom's. She loves bingo, by the way. So it's a little bingo game.
Okay. Well, we'll spin the wheel. Savannah.
What do we have? It's going to come rolling down.
All right. Woo-wee. We have the number. So the number has already been selected. So those of you who want to win, remember, you got to pick 1 through 50 without going over the number that we selected. At the end of the show, we're going to select the person who's going to win $20 Amazon gift card.
Oh, you must be present to win too. So once we announce the winner, you will DM us either your phone number or your email address, and we can get that gift card to you electronically.
Yeah.
Technology. Isn't that
Technology.
great?
Yep. We can text you the gift card. You know what? I was listening to someone the other day on a podcast, and he was talking about haters. And, I'm not sure if you guys know about what haters are, who they are, or what they do, but these are individuals that, hate, right? If you tell them, hey, I'm doing something good, oh, that's not going to work. Get rid of those haters out of your life, right? Get the right people that is going to encourage you, that's going to influence you, that's going to be positive, that's going to lift you up in whatever it is that you have your passion or desires to do. And so haters, get rid of them. All right. So you know what? We're going to be bringing our guests on shortly. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Right after these commercial break, we're going to bring our special guests. All right.
Yes.
All right, we are back. Man, our special guest has been in the financial industry for 30 years. I think he started when he was 2 because this guy looks so young, man. It's crazy. But he's been in the financial industry. He's brought couples together. He's helped people become financially independent. He is a great guy. And we like to welcome him, Michael Ching. Hey, what's up, Michael?
Hi, Linda. Great to see you guys.
Good. How are you?
Good.
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing good. We're doing good. You know, we've been getting some really good weather out here in California. I know you're here too, but, you know, we've been praying for those over in Texas or East Coast. They've been getting slammed.
Yeah.
Yes, they have. Yeah, it's been sad. Very sad.
Yeah. So 30 years, Michael. Let me just go back to that for a minute, right? You know, looking at your bio, you said 30 years, right? And you look like 35. So, I mean, gosh,
Thank you.
You started when you were 5?
It's funny. I started right out of college. The way I became a financial advisor, it's kind of funny. I had a little bit of money. And because I'd saved up, I was working, you know, part-time and managed to save up money. And so I was studying to be an aerospace engineer. I knew I worked as a mechanical engineer in training for a company in Denver. So I had a bunch of senior engineers that I reported to, and they were all into the stock market. And so, of course, you know, I was looking for my first real job. I thought, you know, I'm not slamming engineering. It's a great field, amazing people. But ironically, the group of engineers I was with all wanted to either get into management or get into finance. I thought that was interesting. And so I was looking for my first job, as I said, and I thought, hey, why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone? I've got this money. I want to learn how to make it grow. And I saw an ad in the newspaper. They were looking to hire stockbrokers, and so I thought, oh wow, that's great. They'll pay me to learn how to invest, and
nice.
So I applied. I was accepted, and they went through their training program. And I'll tell you a dirty little secret. When I became a financial advisor, I thought, oh, they're gonna put me in months of training. I'm gonna learn all the secret techniques. And sadly, what I learned is that they spent most of the time training me on sales, very little of the time on really what makes a good investment. And so I was like, oh wow, that's kind of shocking to me. And so eventually, what happened was I decided that I wanted to work for another company, and the reason why was that, so this is something important. So if you're shopping for a financial advisor, this is something good to know. You really want to know how the financial advisor is paid, because that really sets the tone for the whole relationship going forward.
Yeah.
And so my first job as a financial advisor, and I'm not slamming commission advisors, because they have to earn a living too. They have families. I understand that. But there's an inherent problem with the system. And so my first job was a full commission financial advisor. And what that meant was I was paid by the products themselves. So it sounds good at first. Your client really doesn't pay you. Your money comes from the products that you sell. But what that does, that sets up an inherent conflict of interest, because different products pay differently. And so one product might pay the advisor 0.5%, but another product might pay the advisor up to 10% with residuals. And so I've worked with people, and they're good people, but when you have that much difference in compensation, what I've noticed is that they tend to start justifying their decisions. They start focusing on the good aspects of the 10% commission product rather than, which is really better. Well, I realized that I couldn't sell those products because I looked at the performance long term, and I realized there's only one reason why those products can pay a financial advisor so much. It had to come from somewhere. Where did it come from? Well, it came from the performance of the investment.
Wow.
And so once I figured that out, I realized, and my boss wanted me to sell the big ticket items, the high commission products, of course, because he had a salary he had to maintain.
Just thinking about that, right? And I'm playing this through my mind. I'm saying, okay, if I'm selling, do I want to sell a product for 1% or 10%, right?
Right.
So
Exactly.
You find all of the good qualities in the 10% and just brush the 1% off to the side.
Right. And so I'm not
sense.
saying there's any intentional deceit, but it's the incentive's in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, I can't live like this. I can't convince people. If I'm not going to buy the product, and I wouldn't sell the product to my mom, how can I sit and sell strangers or anybody this product if I really don't believe in it? I've always thought you need to really believe in whatever you represent. And so I found out there was another company just up the street, and they paid their brokers salary. It meant I would make a much less money, but I could sleep at night. And so I went up there, and I don't want to mention their name. They're one of the largest names in the financial industry right now. And so I applied, and they hired me, and things were great. I worked there for 18 years, and I was happy. I was making salary, wasn't getting rich, but I was really blessed there. And what happened, what I didn't expect to happen when I first started working there, was that they assigned a large number of clients to me that were very, very successful. And because in those days you didn't have the internet where a client could do their own research. In those days, if you wanted research on a financial instrument, you had to call a broker. There was no other way. And so everyone needed a broker of some sort. And so they assigned me to some very wealthy individuals. And so what they did is those individuals those are the people who taught me how to invest. Very, very wealthy people. And so they would oftentimes explain their strategy. Hey, Michael, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this. So I want you to see if you can find that. And so they're explaining how they looked at investments, and through their eyes, I've learned, oh, wow. So this is how they became so successful. So the tiny bit of training the brokerage firm put me through was nothing compared to what my clients put me through. They said, they literally taught me how they became successful. And so I learned their strategies. I learned how to shop for them. I learned how to look for great investments. I learned what was a bad investment. I learned what was a great investment. And so things are going really well for me there. And then one day they came to me and said, hey, Michael, we're going to change our system. We're going to change the way we're going to pay you. In fact, if you want to, and literally became their top, at that time, I was their top fixed income advisor in the nation. I won a huge award. It was incredible. Go on and on about what they gave me, but they sent me to Hawaii, etc. They really take care of their number one guy. Well, anyhow, they said, we're going to change our system. And what we're going to do, if you want a huge incentive bonus at the end of the year, we want you to sell these products. But if you prefer a tiny incentive bonus at the end of the year, keep doing what you're doing. And I realized, oh man, I'm right back where I started, at the very beginning, conflict of interest in the advice. I realized I couldn't work that way in the beginning. I'm not going to work that way now. So I started my own company, and I don't get a commission. I don't get an incentive bonus. I don't get a bonus. I just get a flat rate off the portfolio. And so what that means is that, I have zero incentive to sell certain investments because I get a kickback. I don't get any kickbacks. I don't get a commission. The only thing I get is a small percentage off the portfolios. So my goal now, I become a partner with my clients. We both have the same goal. I want their portfolios to go through the roof. And so I pick investments that I believe are appropriate for their situation, and I believe that they'll appreciate over time. And so that's how I built a successful practice, and it's been great. We've been blessed through that, both my clients and myself. So that's how I got into the business, and it's been exciting.
That's really good.
It sounds better, like it's more of a win-win, the way you're doing business now. And before, it sounded like it was more salesy, and the interest was not in the client as much as as it should be.
Exactly. When it's and the whole industry is starting to realize that when it's a commission-based business, I mean, you can make a lot of money very quickly in a commission-based business, but in the end, the real money is with long-term relationships. And so when you incent the financial advisor to make the portfolios grow, that's a great relationship. But when you incent the financial advisor to sell the highest paying commission product, that's not a long-term relationship. In fact, I get a lot of clients who are leaving those relationships. Not that the advisors were bad, but the incentive was in the wrong place. So the products that they got put in were not necessarily the best for their situation.
Michael, we're going to go to a commercial real quick, but when we come back, I want you to talk about what people should look for in a financial advisor. That would be really good.
Okay.
All right, we're going to go to commercial break. We'll be right back. We are back in effect. Sometimes these commercials are long, sometimes they're short. I'm still trying to learn this thing. Man, we got our producer. She's doing a wonderful job. You guys need to check her out, Shell T. She can help to promote your business, do some marketing for you, make these wonderful videos, everything. Shout out to Shell T. Oh, she also does comedy too. She's funny. We always need a little bit of laughter. But Michael, there was a question back a little bit ago. Someone asked, are any tips on stocks under $10?
Well, I get those questions all the time, and so I'll wrap this kind of around how you should pick a financial advisor.
Okay.
And what I've discovered is not all financial advisors are really good at picking great investments. Because like I said, the industry teaches you more about how to sell rather than how to pick a great investment. And so should I be buying a certain stock, $10 or under or over $10? You really have to understand what makes a stock good, right? If you don't know what makes a stock good, then you're going to be kind of swimming upstream. And so your financial advisor should understand that what makes successful stocks, it's not necessarily earning so much, it's anticipated earnings. So you have to find a situation where the anticipated earnings are going to continue to grow over time. And so I get this question all the time. Hey, what about this penny stock? What about this cheap stock? It's cheap, right? So how can I lose? Well, you can, even if a stock is 10 cents, right? It can still go down to 5 cents. It can still go down to a penny, which means you lose 90% of everything you put in that. Does that sound good? No, that doesn't sound good. So you really have to find a company. You have to look at each company individually, and are the anticipated earnings going to climb? And that's really, really the key. If you can find situations, look at some of the best investments of our lifetime. If you look at Amazon, look at Google. Why were they such great investments? Well, because the anticipated earnings over time grew. And obviously, Google and Amazon are mega companies now. So an investor should be looking for the next Google, for the next Amazon. And so what do those stocks look like? And so one thing that a lot of people get bogged down with is the price of the stock. And I tell people, really, that's not that critical, because nowadays, especially, you can buy partial shares of a stock. So forget about the price. So what if it's under $5? So what if it's under $10? In fact, I have a rule. Wall Street doesn't really like stocks under $5. And the reason why it's under $5 is because most institutional, the really smart people out there won't touch them. And so generally, if a stock's under $5, that's my first warning sign. There's a reason why it's under $5, and that's because bigger players have looked at it and they've kind of tossed it aside. So the most important thing, once again, if you can buy fractional shares, then the price doesn't matter if the stock's trading at $3,000, because everything moves in percentages, right? So let's say you bought Amazon and it's trading at thousands of dollars. Well, who cares? If it goes up 30%, it goes up 30%. If you buy a $10 stock, who cares? If it goes up 30%, it goes up 30%. So long as it's above $5, so it's not a penny stock, then you just start looking at potential earnings, anticipated earnings going forward.
That's really good. I mean, that's a good way to look at it. Like, I mean, even, people look at, these stocks that are really expensive, like, let's say Bitcoin is, $40,000 or something crazy, right? Like, I can't buy a $40,000 stock, but you can buy percentages of them, take that money, and, hoping that it's going to go up at some point, right? I mean, I think that investment may be, I don't know, I'm not a stock guy. I don't know a whole bunch, but it seems like it makes a lot more sense that way because it's a stronger company.
I have a question.
Yes.
But before that, I forgot to mention, you guys put in your numbers because I missed that part. Pick a number, put it in the chat. But anyways, my question is, can you share some success stories with the viewers out there? Some of your success stories?
Absolutely. So many years ago, so I've been doing this for 30 years, and I share this with my clients all the time. It's one of my favorite stories. In fact, before I go there, so 30 years ago, I was a new stockbroker, and I was working with a young man, and he was just finishing up school, and he had $20,000 that he saved as a waiter, saved his tips as a waiter. And he said, hey, Michael, this is my emergency fund. This is well before Dave Ramsey, but he had an emergency fund. He says, but it's been in the checking account for a couple years now, and it hasn't really grown. So I don't really think I'm going to need it. And so I want to invest this. And of course, Dave Ramsey says, never invest your emergency fund. So I explained the dangers of doing that. But he was okay with that. And so he's been with me for 30 years. Wow. And so we invested that money, that $20,000. And he doesn't mind me sharing this story. I got his permission to tell it. And so many years ago, he started his Roth IRA. We invested that original $20,000. And he brought me his 401k when he left his company. And so he, I think it was a couple years ago, he had never made more than $65,000 a year in salary. Wow. And so he today, because we took all those investments, he's a multimillionaire. He's financially independent, and that 20,000, it went well over $300,000, and it would have been significantly more, but he used a lot of it to buy his first home. And so it can be done. You don't have to have a huge salary to do this. You could, just so long as you follow the Ramsey principles. There wasn't any Dave Ramsey in those days, but the principles have been around for years. And if you spend less than you make, save a portion of it. There's a famous book called The Richest Man in Babylon, and the whole concept in that book was save. The author called it pay yourself. You pay yourself first. And of course, I'm a Christian. I believe in paying God first, and then pay yourself second. But the author said pay yourself first, and he would save 10%. Dave Ramsey says save 15%. And I say the same thing as Dave does. Save 15% of everything you make. Pay yourself second, and that has an amazing power to transform your finances over time.
Wow. So what about someone, my age, right? I mean, I don't have 30 years. Maybe. I hope I have 30, Michael. But
Eric, I can say this pretty comfortably. So as I said, I've been doing this for 30 years. So I believe you have more than 30 years ahead of you, because you're not investing. Like a lot of people think, okay, Michael, I want to retire in 5 years. But it's kind of like sports, right? You don't want to swing at the ball. You want to swing through the ball. It's same thing with retirement. You're not just saving up to that point. The day you retire, all of a sudden it hits you. Oh, wow. No, I need this money to continue to grow. I need to swing through retirement. So if you're 70 years old and just retiring today, guess what? You might live to be 100. So that means another 30 years. So easily, Eric, I believe you've got more than 30 years ahead of you. So,
right. All right, thank you, man. I'm going to receive that. 30 years, I'm going to be 85.
Oh, he told his age. Wow. Okay.
That's all right. I'm 55. It's okay. All right. Yeah. Wow. That's really good. Your game, I see some numbers coming in the chat, but just want to remind everyone, Numbers Up game is going to be coming up shortly. So pick a number between 1 and 50, put it in the chat for your chance to win a $20 Amazon gift card. And then when we come back, Michael, maybe we could talk about some of the first steps that people need to take to get involved with maybe your company or stocks or retirement or whatever it is to help them grow. I know that after this show, we're going to be meeting up really soon.
That sounds good.
All right. We're going to go to commercial break. We'll see you in a minute.
All the way up, turn it all the way up, to the max. All the way up, turn it all the way up, to the max. All the way up, turn it all the way up, to the max. All the way up, turn it all the way up. And telling the brother calm down, and fit a square with a round hole. Cause every time that I come around, I turn it as loud as it go. Sipping the rock, pink a lot, or give me the lime. Ready or not, give me a sign if you want me to stop. Giving it to you a cappella, the music will drop. One at a time, singing a rhyme on the drop of a dime. It's got time to shine, baby. I'ma break it down until it's liquid. Turn up, stir it up, call it biscuit. Hold up, I'm turned to the max. So loud, I got a deaf mute in the back. I'm not gonna do what it does. The first time that you heard the names on the track. All the way up, turn it
Man,
that's Shelty right there. That's Shelty.
We behind the scenes, like, man.
Yes.
You know what? Hey, for you guys out there watching, if you guys want a commercial, we want to be part of this show. You need something. Check out Shelty. I'm going to put her information in the chat so you guys can reach out to her for if you looking to add your commercial to our show. I think this is pretty cool. It's fun for us. But we're back with Michael. All right, Michael.
So,
right.
First steps.
What is the first steps?
Well, so I'll start off with this. I want you to think of the world divided by this giant river. And on one side of the river, people they're trying to get ahead, but every time they put something together, they start building homes, the river comes and it floods them out. And they have to start all over again. It's terrible. And everyone on that side of the river is struggling financially. But on the other side of the river, people are living extremely well. In fact, on this side of the river, the people have learned to take power out of the river. And the river is actually powering their lives. And so this river is called compound interest and return. And what happens when you live on the wrong side of the river, you are paying interest. You're paying credit card interest. You're paying excessive interest on your cars. You're paying excessive consumer interest. And that river, compound interest and return, will destroy you. Because if you're paying anything higher than 6% right now, it's going to be very difficult to succeed financially long term. And so what you need to do is get to the other side of the river. So what that means is you need to pay off your consumer debt. So if you have credit cards, so I follow the Dave Ramsey principle, and so Dave says first thing you need to do is save $1,000. That's kind of your mini emergency fund. Then the next step number 2, is to pay off all your consumer debt. So pay off your credit cards. If you've got a car that you're paying more than, I would say, 4% interest then you need to pay that off because you're on the wrong side of the river. And anytime a financial storm comes, that river's going to knock you out. So now you need to, once you paid off all that debt, you're no longer, and it's very simple. How do you do that? Well, you don't want to pay the minimum payment on those credit cards because those are designed to keep you in debt forever. You want to pay those off in a matter of months or years if it takes you that long, but you want to do everything in your power to pay that off. So whatever it takes. If you pay 3 or 4 times the minimum, or if you got an extra $1,000, not in the $1,000 savings, but $1,000, guess where that goes? That goes to pay off that debt. So do everything you can to get to the other side of the river. Then once you're on the other side of the river, then you start making investments, and we call that baby step number 4. And baby step number 4, you start making that river work for you. You start making compound interest and return. You start having investments like the Roth IRA. Dave Ramsey and I are both really big on the Roth IRA. It's the only vehicle really out there that once it's in the Roth IRA, as long as you don't take it out, it's out of the tax system forever. And it also has the potential of having really great investment managers run that for you. So one, get off the wrong side of the river, get out of that area, get to the other side of the river, start having compound interest return work for you. And it's night and day being on one side of the river or the other. I've seen portfolios that those people are never going to worry for money because their portfolio returns are greater than they have great jobs, but their portfolios are giving higher rates of return, bringing their household income so high up that it's just shocking to see some of this. So get to the other side of the river.
Get to the other side. I see a couple questions that popped in. What's your take on those WFG, World Financial Groups, that family and friends try to get you into?
So I would want to know more specifically. I'm not specific. I'm not up on WFG, World Financial Groups. So I would need to know more about that. I haven't run into that too much. But of course, if it's anything like, I know they're constantly changing the names. If it's anything like a multi-level marketing, yeah, you definitely want to avoid those. I just haven't, I would love to have one of my friends who's a great success. Many of my friends have come to me with those ideas, talking about potential success. But I don't have any of my friends or associates come to me saying, look how much money I made in that. Just hasn't happened.
Gotcha.
Pull up that question right there.
Which one?
From Randy, that one.
There's also another question. Sorry, Show. All right, go ahead. This question.
So what it goes back to what we started talking about: life insurance, any type of insurance product. So anytime you're working with someone who professes to be a financial advisor, you want to understand, and it's a fair question. I mean, it's something that you don't feel guilty for asking. I have a lot of people, they come to me, and I can tell sometimes they feel a little awkward, but I want them to ask me that question. How do you get paid? Because really that's part of our relationship. So I'm not ashamed of the answer. I don't want you to be ashamed to ask. So if an advisor makes you feel guilty for asking, there's a problem there. So ask your advisor, your insurance guy, how do you make money? Well, unfortunately with insurance products, and I'm not slamming insurance advisors, I'm not slamming them at all. But if they're on the commission side, well, it goes back to that conflict of interest. Well, so do you make more money on certain products than other products? Well, then how do I know I'm really getting the best product? And so Dave Ramsey, and he's gone very public with this, Dave Ramsey doesn't like annuities. He doesn't like whole life policies. And there's a reason why. If you look at the returns on investments, I've had clients that come to me and they've had those policies for years, for decades. And we compare the returns of those products versus what you would have gotten in a regular mutual fund over that same period of time. There's no comparison on the rate of returns. And so they always, try to make them sell. I could sell those products if I wanted to, but I've chosen not to. And they'll always try to sell the benefits. Well, you can never lose money. Have an independent financial advisor. So if someone's showing you a contract and they're talking about all the benefits of why you should buy it, take it to someone who doesn't have something at stake and ask them their opinion on it. Get a second opinion on that product, because they're probably going to point out something that maybe you didn't think of, or the other person doesn't want you to think about.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, it was going through my mind like someone says, "Hey, I want to sell your product. Well, how much you make? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't tell you that." But behind the scenes, they're taking 50% of your money.
So
exactly.
I have one more question that I think is really important. How much should I save for retirement?
That's a great question. So the answer is different for everyone, because some people are very close and some people are far away. But Dave's number of 15% is good. But of course, if you want to retire next year, and I have these conversations all the time, if you want to retire next year, saving 15%, and you haven't saved anything so far, it's probably not going to cut it. So we have to manage those expectations, right? If you've got $500,000 in debt and you want to retire tomorrow and you have no savings, well, what's retirement going to look like for you? It's not, so are you going to like that type of retirement? So it's different for everyone, but if you start young enough and you save that 15% and you follow the Ramsey strategy and you're constantly, you don't have any debt, and you're saving that 15%, then it makes retirement options much, much more pleasant as you get closer.
And if there was one thing you wanted to say before you leave the show, what would you say to the viewers out there? One thing, like, you have to do this. If there is
definitely, procrastination is the killer to any financial plan. I can't tell you. I work with people all the time, and I get calls all the time from people I talked to 2 years ago, and it's like, oh man, if only you would have done something 2 years ago. The numbers are significantly different now. In fact, I would say that's my number one regret, my biggest mistake personally, financially. I could have started investing 2 years before I did. But I was young. I realized how important an IRA was, but I kept putting it off, and I put it off for 2 years. Well, now I kick myself because those 2 years have cost me literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. Even though it was only a little bit of money in those days, that money would have grown compounded over 30 years. And so it would have put me 2 years ahead of where I am today. So I am very, very sorry that I procrastinated for those first 2 years. So I tell everyone, hey, learn from my mistake, right? Learn from the error that I made that I really understand was a serious problem. Don't procrastinate. Move forward. If you're paying debt, get out of debt. And I mean consumer debt. There's certain debt that's not going to kill you. You can still start investing while you have it. But don't procrastinate.
Wow, that's
really good. That helped
good.
Me.
Yes.
No doubt about it. Michael Ching, guys. Hey, Financial Wealth Management. This is his company, Nardene Wealth, right there. This is his website. I put it all in the chat. If you want to reach out to Michael, that's his website. This is his email, or actually, that's his phone number. Yes. That's a direct connect to Michael Ching. If you want to get started, don't procrastinate, people. I mean, financial freedom is very important. And if you want to shoot him an email, if you guys have questions or anything, go ahead and shoot him an email. I just want to thank you, Michael, for being part of our show. Some really good information that you left us with.
I learned a lot. I forgot I was in a show. I thought I was in a classroom or something. I forgot
You're teaching.
Right. So I did learn a lot. Thank you so much.
Well, it's great being with you guys. Thank you for the opportunity, guys.
All right. We got, one question popped in here. What's your economic prediction for the current times? Are we expecting a recession? Is the market high?
So one of the Ramsey principles is diversification. And there are, here in the US, we're probably closer to a top than we are the bottom. We've been doing this for several years now. But there are markets internationally, large markets, which have recently gone through recession and are just now coming out of recession. So that means if they go through a typical business cycle, it means that potentially, not promising or guaranteeing, but they have several years more of potential growth ahead of them. And so that's one answer. Your diversification should help to spread out the risk of being at a top. But if you look at history as our teacher, and look at the last pullbacks that we had, there were certain investments that they came down, but did they go significantly higher? So all you had to do was hold on to those quality investments, and they took all those shareholders to a whole new level over the next few years. So don't worry if we're at a top right now. The most important thing, because think about it, back in 2008, let's say you pick the very peak of the market, the very worst day to invest. Well, and there were days where you were uncomfortable, days where on paper you lost money, but all you had to do was hold on. And anyone who held on and didn't sell the quality investments, well, they're significantly higher now today. So a lot of people, they use that procrastination. What if we're at the peak? Well, if you pick a quality investment will make up for some bad timing over time. So don't focus on that so much, but definitely diversify, get into markets that are nearer the bottoms than the tops.
Wow. Thanks, Mike. Thank you, man. Really good stuff.
Thank you.
We'll be calling you shortly. Are you open tonight? Just kidding. Hey, man. Thank you, man, so much for being part of our show, man. Great information. Good stuff.
Thank you.
God bless you guys. Thank you.
God bless you.
Thanks, Michael. All right. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
again. I forgot to say, put in your numbers before.
Put in your numbers right now.
Yeah,
Hurry up
your numbers.
before she pulls her number.
Yes. Well, no, I already pulled the number.
You already
Eric.
pulled the number. All right. If you want to be part of the prize, you got to put in your number. Put in your number. You got about 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And are there any new numbers in there? Doesn't look like it. So for those of you out there playing the numbers up game, the number today is, there's another number that came in.
Can you see that?
Oh, I can't see that.
No, you can't see that.
That is so small. I can't even see that with my glasses.
It's 50. Trust me.
The number is 50. So let's go through. And the winner is Mark Andres.
Yes.
Man, hey, send us a direct message in Facebook or text me or whatever you need to do, and we will text you your gift card
Of $20.
$20 for Amazon.
Yes.
Wow, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. We're getting the hang of this, so thank you guys for just hanging in there. And Michael Ching, he brought some really good information. I thought that some of the information he shared helped me think about, my financial situation and what I should be doing and, how to save. And
one thing we didn't get to talk about, and I was reading his bio, is that he helped couples too get financially independent or pay off debt.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them, so that was one of the things I was like really interested in, because everybody's on the other side of the river. Like a lot of people are on the wrong side of the river, paying consumer debt, and I'd like to make my way across to the other side of the river. What about you?
Yeah. I want to get on to the other side of the river. A couple key points that he mentioned, don't procrastinate, because I know a lot of times people procrastinate. They say, I'm going to start saving, figure out a way to, set yourself up for when you retire so that you don't have to work. I retired and look, I'm still working. But anyway, I love what I do, so it doesn't matter. But all jokes aside, debt can cause a lot of stress. It can cause a lot of turmoil in your family and your life. And, if you're looking for a financial advisor, Michael Ching seems like he has a wealth of knowledge. I mean, do your homework, go out, find someone that fits your needs, whoever it is. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that can help you, but you have to take that first step.
Yeah, that is like one of the leading causes in divorces is money.
Yeah. Well, I guess we must have a lot of it because we've been married for a long time.
We have God as our foundation, and I thank the Lord that, we have him as our foundation. That's what keeps us together.
Yeah, absolutely. Marriage isn't always easy. And, there's always going to be challenges and ups and downs, but just hang in there, keep pushing forward. When I said I do, I meant it. I mean, it was like, through the bad times, through the good times, it doesn't matter. I mean, we partners, we ride forever together, and that's what it's all about. Trying to figure it out, make it work. What happens? You get married again, you got the same problems, who knows? I don't know. So I've never been in that situation, but I'm just happy to say that, I'm still married.
There was a comment in the chat too, and it was integrity is the greatest wealth. And so, and that's how I feel that Michael Ching was, does business is with integrity. And I think that is the greatest wealth.
Yeah.
Other than the money part of it,
Yeah.
Money helps though. Don't get me wrong. But.
No question about that. No doubt. Money helps. So this was a really good show. Guys, reach out to Mike. I mean, I definitely am. I'm actually going to be reaching out to him to see if he can do one of his classes. I know he teaches classes, see how we can connect that way. But yeah. Cool.
I do want to give out a quick shout out to the Philippines. I have met my first cousins actually for the first time through Messenger and Facebook. And so they told me that they watch the show. So thank you out there in the Philippines for watching the
Yeah,
show.
we did with worldwide,
Yes.
baby.
Yes.
Oh, maybe that's not the nation, but we taking this thing globally. You know, if we could touch somebody, help somebody, encourage somebody, that's what we're here to do. That's why we do this show.
Yes.
You know, because we talk to so many people who have ideas and want to start a business or want to get out of debt or want to do something. And I think hearing other people's stories really encourages people to take that next step. I mean, we don't know it all. We can't do it all, but we can bring people that can inspire you to do something different and make a change to help yourself or help your family out.
Yeah. You know, I do have a tip. Usually we talk about in other encouraging words. And so I do want to give a tip out there. We flew to Vegas the other week, and I wore this sparkly sweater. I don't know if you can see, it's all sparkly.
Yeah.
It's and so when I went through the TSA, whatever thing where you go like this, my whole shirt lit up. And so they had to do a pat down in front of everybody, a thorough pat down of my top half of my body. And so don't wear sparkly stuff when you go travel, when you flying on an airplane. And so that was my tip for you guys out there traveling, because we are starting to open up.
Yeah, a little bit,
you know,
a little bit. So, hey, next week.
Oh, yes. Next week
We have, there he is, Barry Brewer. He is part of a show that with Tyler Perry, right? Bruh. If you haven't seen Bruh, you go out there and see it. Watch it on television. He's going to be coming in next week, special guest, talking about entrepreneurship, kind of sharing some of the things that, you know, he had to get to where he is. And so it's going to be exciting. Barry Brewer, I'm like pumped up. I'm like, man, this guy's a movie star.
Yeah.
We're taking this up a whole nother level.
Yes.
I'm just having some fun out here
tonight. He
tonight.
has too much fun on this show.
I mean, we got to have some fun. That's what life's about, right? If you can't laugh and enjoy it, then, you know, man, what else is there to do?
What else is there?
Get up off the couch and do something.
Don't procrastinate. Get on the other side of the river.
Yeah.
Right?
So that's about it for you tonight. Thank you guys for being a part. Thank you, Mark. Give us a call. Shoot us a text so we can get you that gift card. And we'll see you guys next week with Barry Brewer.
Thank you guys for joining us on our live show today. We'll see you next week, 6 p.m. Tuesdays.
Yeah.